Hey, what's up? ArcubiHD here, and today we're going to talk about the priest class. So we're going to deep dive a bit and break down the different stats and equipment that the priest class is currently doing, and as well as answer some of those commonly asked questions. Okay, let's talk about haste and final haste. So the most common misconception that people make about this stat is that they are the same stat, that if you have 100 haste and you have 20% final haste, that will give you a total of 120 haste. That's not the case here. As you can see in my stat over here, those are two different stats that would give them two different cooldown reduction and cast time reduction. So if you go into your stat page and click on the final haste, in here you can see that my final haste would be giving me a reduction of 8.3 and 2 seconds cast time, while my haste here over gives me 13.5 cooldown reduction. And what does that translate to is when I go into my sanctuary and try to level it up to level 9, you would see that the total amount of cooldown reduction that would give is around 21.9 seconds. So that's the combination of my haste and final haste percentage numbers, as you can see on the screen. So those are two different stats and they would give two different bonuses. And haste is very important because when you go into High Priest, the level 1 of ME here would require you at least 22% cooldown reduction so you can cast it quickly. So ideally you should have a total of 22 to 24% cooldown reduction before going to High Priest. Okay, so how much haste do you actually need? So this question actually depends on the skill level that you are using for your character. As you can see in the previous video, both haste and final haste contribute to the total reduction of cast time and cooldown reduction for this. So you need to balance it out into what's the appropriate level of haste that you can get and which is cost effective for the materials that you have to upgrade your equipments to reach the potential of casting no cooldown and no cast time. But ideally I would suggest around 1500 to 1700 haste. Okay, the next most asked question is it okay to have GTB set equipment? And for me the answer is yes. As you can see here, I have a tier 1 GTB set and it's almost the same stat as the level 40, which is the Corsair set, and it's still in white equips, and so it's easy to upgrade. For me, it's just a matter of preference of what kind of set effects do you want to have. So I really like the GTB reflect effect. As you know, a support or a priest gets hit a lot by enemies, especially in PvP or even in the instances, and I'd like to reflect some of this damage. So the higher the damage that they throw at you, the higher the reflect that it's going to be. So it's still going to be 15%, but if it's 15% of 10,000 damage, then that's pretty huge reflect damage to whoever throw at it, so whether it's a boss or a player that does it. So it really depends on the set effects that you like, and I like the GTB set, so I think it's okay for everyone to use GTB set. Okay, so the last question I always get is, do I go with blue set or do I go with white set? So as you know, it's easier to upgrade and enhance white set at the moment, but on the late game, upgrades for blue set will always exceed beyond the white set capacity. And with that said, it really depends on your capacity right now, so your resources. So I would suggest everyone who is playing that doesn't want to spend much money, like real life money on this game, focus on white set first while you continue to gather materials from the instance and upgrade or craft your blue set until such time that you're pretty solid on your white set and you can quickly switch into the blue set. Just a caveat, you cannot transfer refines or enhancement from the blue set and the white set. So your refines would remain only if you transfer it into a white set, so your GTB set to your Corsair set. But for GTB to a blue set, you cannot transfer your refine. So for me, I'm still gonna be using GTB white set until I tier it to tier 5, and then I think I'm gonna skip blue set altogether because I don't really like the set effect, which is damage to MVP, and I think I'll skip that and move into eventually a Valkyrie set. So yeah, that's about it. So if there's any more questions from you guys, feel free to comment down below, and I'm more than happy to share some of my experience in future videos. So if you want to have different topics and want me to explain those, comment down below. And yeah, that's about it. So thumbs up if you like it, subscribe if you love it, and catch you next time. Peace.